is not common to find tar balls and oiled animals on your beaches, you should be prepared to document oil every time you conduct a survey. Collection of oil samples, tar balls, and oil from dead birds and marine mammals is necessary to determine the origin of oil. As a Beach Watch volunteer, you collect evidence for OSPR, the California Office of Spill Prevention and Response. Proper collection of oil evidence is crucial to the outcome of pollution investigations. All sample collection protocols, including sample collection, preservation, storage, reporting, and chain of custody, are important. Properly done, it produces samples which, when analyzed, can be of significant assistance to successful prosecution of the polluter. There are 3 scenarios that you may encounter: oiled live animals, tar balls or patties on the beach, and finding a dead oiled specimen. Make sure you have adequate equipment each time you go out, packing everything you need to handle oil just in case you come across an oiled specimen or oil on your beach. This includes the paperwork as well as nitrile gloves, sterile jars, foil, evidence strips, tongue depressors, and labels for the jars. When you're packing these items, keep in mind that if you find tar balls, you will collect 3 specimens, so you'll need 3 of each. You should also remember not to expose the collected oil to anything that will contaminate it, especially plastics. For this reason, you'll want to pack nitrile gloves, foil, in paper bags to prevent exposure to any plastic or contaminants. When you're out on your survey and you see a live oiled animal, take a photo of the animal, whether it is on the beach or on the water. When documenting this, if you are unsure whether this is oil or some other substance, take a photo and record the sighting as you would for any live oiled animal, noting in comments that you are unsure about the nature of the substance on the animal. Also log the photos taken on your photo log. If you come across tar balls, patties, or other oil on your beach, you should conduct a visual survey of the area so that you understand the extent of the oiled area before you begin documentation. Once you have a good sense of the scene, there are 4 steps to field documentation of tar balls. Step 1. Take photographs. Take photographs of the scene with your scale, accurately showing the spread and size of the tar balls. Take several photographs at different distances from the oil that best represent the spread and density. A good rule of thumb is to take a photo close up at 0.5 meters, another photo at 5 meters, and a third photo at 10 meters. Be sure to indicate the distances from which you documented the oil, and don't forget to include this information on the photo documentation log. Step 2. Collect evidence. After putting on your nitrile gloves, you will sample the tar balls using the tongue depressor and jar. Do not touch the inside of the container or the inside of the lid with anything but the sample and tongue depressor. Collect a maximum of 3 tar balls from different sections of your beach. You must use a fresh pair of gloves for each sample collected to maintain the integrity of the sample. Use the labels and evidence strips, sealing, and identifying what the specimen number is on each jar. On your jar labels, remember to include the date and description of where on your beach you found the sample. Step 3. Complete paperwork. When you find oil or tar balls on the beach, you need to complete the oil descriptor form. You will accurately indicate how many tar balls, the size of each, and the spread of the band of oil. Examine the oil on the beach and make a judgment about the oil amount, type, and consistency. If you have more than 3 tar balls on your beach, it is considered a band or strip of oil. The beach includes the area from the waterline up to the dune vegetation or cliff face. On your beach survey form, note any pertinent information in the comments section. Step 4. Fill out the chain of custody card. Be sure to fill out a chain of custody card at the time of collection. Record your name, beach segment name and number, exact sampling location, time, date, and name of suspected polluter if provided by Beach Watch staff. Make sure you fill out all labels and the chain of custody card completely. Much of this information may seem redundant, but it is necessary in preventing cross-contamination or misidentification of the samples. List items in the order you have collected them on the beach. The item number will be used for all oil samples. Use waterproof pens to write on the jar labels, the evidence tape, and the chain of custody card. You may come across a dead animal with oil on its feathers or fur. Always wear nitrile gloves when handling any animal with oil on it. There are 4 steps to field documentation of an oiled animal. Step 1. Take photographs. Photograph the animal with the photo scale, taking photos of the ventral and dorsal sides, along with close-ups of the oiled area. Document this on the photo log form, describing the amount of oil in the notes area. Step 2. Collect evidence. You must use a fresh pair of gloves for each sample collected to maintain the integrity of the sample. You collect a sample from each animal you find with oil. To collect feathers from an oiled bird carcass, pluck a small group of feathers about 3 to 4 centimeters wide and place them in a sterile jar or on a piece of clean, unused foil. Fill out the label and attach it in such a way that a chain of custody seal is created. Use a waterproof pen on all the labels. Record the specimen number as assigned on the Beach Monitoring Survey form. Step 3. Complete the paperwork. When oil is found on an animal, record its presence, the extent that's oiled, and where the oil is on the specimen in the Dead Vertebrates section on the Oil Monitoring Survey form. If you observe oil on the animal, mark Y for yes in the oiled column. You will record the rest of the data about the dead animal on the Beach Monitoring Survey form as usual. If you mark yes that you have observed oil on a dead specimen, you need to collect a sample. Step 4. Fill out the chain of custody card. Be sure to properly fill out a chain of custody card at the time of sample collection, as described in the previous step. Once any oil sample is collected, there are 2 more important steps that require action. Reporting. The sanctuary should be notified immediately anytime you find oil or tar balls or oiled wildlife on your beach. Call the Beach Watch reporting phone at 415-987-0412 within 2 hours after completing your survey, so that if needed, the state and federal oil spill response teams can be activated. And deliver the evidence to the office. Please transport your samples and paperwork to the sanctuary offices as soon as possible and sign them in the presence of a staff member at the time you are handing over the samples. If you cannot immediately transport the samples to the office, wrap the sealed jars, envelopes, or foil in aluminum foil, place in a paper bag, and store in your freezer until transport arrangements can be made. Be certain that none of the hydrocarbon materials that may be on the outside of the jar make contact with your freezer or food. These protocols and Beach Watch training prepare you for periodic tarball events on your beach or oiled wildlife. For larger spill events, OSHA HAZWOPER 24 certification will be required to conduct surveys. This is an optional level of training for Beach Watch volunteers that would be required to participate in oil spill response.